Hello, my name is Monte Parker, and I have something good to report. I know every day there's tragedy in the news, and sometimes there's even fake news. But today, there's good news. The news is the gospel of Jesus Christ. But before you roll your eyes because you think you've heard this story before, give me a few moments to share some of the exciting details that maybe you've heard about, not heard about, or maybe you've forgotten. Have you ever wondered why God placed us on this earth? The Bible makes it clear that God created man in his image, but that he also created man for his glory. So the ultimate purpose of man, according to the Bible, is simply to glorify God. Can you imagine if that's all we had to do all day long was just to glorify God? Well, that's the type of relationship that God intended for us from the very beginning. God himself walked in the Garden of Eden in the cool of the day with Adam and Eve. It was paradise. There was no need for a job, there was no drama, no stress. It was the perfect relationship. But then it happened, an event that changed the course of history. Sin entered into the garden and ruined paradise forever. And as much as we would like to blame it all on Adam and Eve, we can't. Romans 3:23 says that everyone has sinned and come short of the glory of God. Sin is what separates us from God. But that's where our free will comes into play. We have a choice. We can choose to remain separated from God through our sin, or we can use our morality, our religion, our philosophy, or even good works to try to get by. But that would be like trying to use a stepladder to get to the moon. It's impossible. Isaiah 59:2 says, "Your iniquities have separated you from your God. Your sins have hidden his face from you so that he will not hear." Sounds bad, right? Well, it is. Separation from God is death. Romans 6:23 says, "For the wages of sin is death." Wherever sin is, death follows. In the Old Testament, an animal sacrifice was required to atone for their sin. When they sinned, it resulted in a death. When we sin, our souls are bound to an eternal death. But thank God, there is a way to escape this separation, this death. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." See, we can escape death and have life. But did you catch how it came to be? God's own Son, Jesus, had to die so that we could live. Jesus literally took upon himself death to buy our freedom from sin. That is why they call it amazing grace. But the story doesn't end there. Yes, Jesus died and was buried. But unlike the gods of all other religions, Jesus rose from the dead. 1 Corinthians 15:6 says that more than 500 people physically saw Jesus after he came out of the grave. Even today's most critical scholars will acknowledge the accuracy of the eyewitness accounts written in the Bible. And the most beautiful part of the whole story is, he still lives today. I know this because he lives in my heart. Ever since I confessed my sins and repented of them by asking God to forgive me, I have known that he still lives. Where I was once a slave to sin, I am now free. And this can be real for you too. It really is as simple as ABC. Admit, believe, and confess. Admit that you are a sinner. Believe in Jesus by putting your trust in him, and confess that Jesus is Lord. Romans 10:9 says, "If you will confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved." See, it is that simple. Now that's good news if I ever heard it.